Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to be go over a list of EV stocks and break them down for you. I know a lot of videos are just one specific EV stock and it may be hard to keep up with all of them, so that's why I'm creating this video. So I'm going to give you the top 4 EV stocks and break them down from a technical standpoint. Now before we get into this video, I would like to remind you to subscribe to this channel because it really does help me out. And we also have a free Discord in the link where we post charts. We just talk about the stock market in general. So if you're interested in that, make sure to click the link in the bio. So none other than the famous Tesla, that is the first stock that we're going to go over. Now let's go look at the chart and break that down from a technical standpoint. Now we all know that Tesla has had some huge news recently, mainly because of the inclusion to the S&P 500. Now we all know that Tesla has been a great stock over the last few years, specifically mainly in 2020 and the end of 2019. Now the 2020 has seen an amazing year for Tesla due to the split they had and also the Rona crash we had, but then it recovered nicely and we've been uptrending ever since. And then we just had that positive catalyst from the S&P 500 inclusion where we just taken off. Now one of the reasons why Tesla has gone up so much is because these funds and all these hedge funds have to purchase Tesla and have it in their portfolio now because they're in the S&P 500. Even if these hedge fund managers might not like Tesla, they still have to have it in their portfolio just because of the inclusion of Tesla. Now let's take a look at Tesla from a technical standpoint. So in previous videos I mentioned how we had this horizontal play and we finally broke out because of that catalyst. Now Tesla has done nothing but go up over the last few days and weeks on that news of it being included in the S&P 500. Now there's not too much to go off of right now just because this is solely based off of hype and news. So we need really for the dust to settle, and pretty much we're going to have to wait until December 21st when they're included into the S&P 500 and see how it plays out then. But for right now, we can look at a few key levels and see where a good entry would be. However, if you've invested in Tesla any time during this week, you've just instantly gone up. So right now it's hard to tell because every time it does have a dip, it's immediately bought up, and then it just hits all-time highs once again. However, if we were to have a pullback, there's several levels. First level would be right here at the 556. After that, if it falls down to, I'd like to see somewhere in the 524 area. Now Tesla is at 574 right now. We gained a whole $18 on Tuesday. Now I would like to see how we close on Friday. That all depends on how much volume we get and if people are taking profit. But we may have another gap and go where we just continue at all-time highs again and we may hit $600. So if you're trading this and you get in right now, make sure that you have your stop loss and you're trailing it. So that's how I structure my trade, and if I got in right now, I stop out at the wick at 567, but if we continue running up towards that $600 mark, I'd lock in profits on Friday. However, if we do have a pullback, I'd be looking at this 557 area and also this 524 area. These are both good entries, but if you do take that trade, still have your stop loss in play because it can pull back even further and we could have a deeper pullback. But like I said, I don't think the dust will settle until December 21st when we actually get that inclusion. Until then, I think we'll have a lot of choppiness and we'll continue this uptrend. The next stock we're going to talk about is NIO. Now, this is once again one of those hot EV stocks in China right now, and then we're going to go over what it's doing right now and how we would take that trade. So in my previous video, I talked about how I would structure my NIO trade, and it stays the same for right now because we haven't opened since the last video. So if you haven't watched that video, what I talked about is that if I were to get in right now at the 53.79 range, I stop out at 52.10 around that area and have a tight stop loss, just because if we do get below this area, then I charted out this area right here. This is where we're going back to, the 49.44. This is a strong support / resistance area. We had buyers immediately come up, then brought back down by sellers. Same here. Buyers tried to push price up, but got met by sellers. However, we pushed through, broke out the resistance, retested it, and notice this time that sellers tried to push price back down to that old resistance, but it was bought back up by buyers. So that's how you know this is a new support and that it was an old resistance, because now we're on the other side of it and buyers are here and we're continuing this uptrend. However, keep your stop loss tight and make sure that you have a plan when you're getting into this. Now, I'd be curious to see if we actually pull back down to here again, and if we do we hold? And if we hold, that's a bullish sign, and that's your cue to get in. However, if we don't hold, we're most likely going back down to this support area, this $44 range, and that would be a good buying opportunity. So when you're trading NIO in the upcoming days and weeks, make sure you're patient and see where it's going. If you get in now, have that type stop loss. If it pulls back down to $49, see what it's doing. Are buyers showing up? If buyers are showing up, then that's a bullish sign, and we'll probably continue this uptrend. However, if the buying pressure is weak, then we're most likely heading back down to this $44 range. Surprise, surprise, the third one on this list is XPENG. This is another EV maker in the Chinese market that's doing absolutely incredible. These stocks are killing it. Now let's take a look at their chart. XPENG has been on an absolute tear. It's actually trading higher than NIO. So you can see, the last couple of months, we've been on this parabolic move. We've just been on this exponential move up. Now, XPENG had hit highs of $75, but what happened? Sellers came in, we got rejected, and right now, it's not looking as good as it is for NIO. You notice how the pressure is starting to slow down for selling, but we haven't really gained too much support, so we're just hovering around this area. So I'd be curious to see what we actually do. We're kind of in this awkward spot right now where I would like to see a pullback down to $56. Now if we get down to $56, that's going to be a strong support area, because as we talked about with NIO, we had this old resistance areas where buyers tried to come up but sellers came in. Same here, but then we were able to break through and hit all-time highs. Now I'm curious to see going into the session on tomorrow and Monday, what happens? Do we get that pullback down here, or do we consolidate more and we're going to have that move up coming Wednesday? Now let's structure our trade for this. So if you get in right now at 64.27, once again guys, I would have this tight stop loss. I stop out at this area right here, which is $63. Have that type stop loss, because we don't have too much to go on right here, because this is just a huge candle body, green candle body screaming up. So the last bit of support we have is around these candle wicks. So if we get below that, then most likely we are heading down to that $56 range, and that would be a good buying opportunity, just because this is a strong support. Now once again, as we talked with NIO, if buyers aren't strong here and there's weak buying pressure, then what? We're coming straight down to this $48 range, and that's a lot better than buying it up at the $56 range. So if you do decide to get in at the $56 range, have that stop loss around the $55 range, and then tag out and wait for the dip by to $48, because that's probably where we're heading, just because once again, this is a strong resistance area, became a new support. We broke out, confirmed it, and uptrended. However, we did see how we had sellers around this area, then we broke out, so you know that's a good support area. So if we do blow right through this, we're most likely heading down to this $48 range. Now the last one is also another Chinese EV maker. This is LI Auto, and it's not as popular as XPENG and NIO, but it is up there. So let's take a look at its stock price. Alright guys, so once again, like XPENG and NIO, LI Auto has had an amazing run up. Even though it's not as popular and you don't see as much, LI Auto is also another amazing stock in this EV sector. Now, we had that red day on Tuesday, and I'm curious to see what type of day we're going to have on Friday. Now, let's do the scenarios where if we were to get in right now. Get in right now, my stop loss would be very tight, and I'd stop out at $39.83. Now, if I'm waiting for the dip buy, it's going to be right here at this area right here, $38.15. Just because, once again, this is a strong support area that used to be an old resistance area. We broke through and we confirmed and retested. Now let's say we broke through the $38.15 mark. Then my next area that I'd be looking for is the $33 area. That's where I would like to buy in on two scenarios that we blow right through it. Now a resistance obviously is going to be at all-time highs. That's just a psychological level that's going to be with any stock that hit all-time highs. 47.62, that's where I would be looking for if we do have a rocking day in the upcoming weeks. If we get at that level, I'd like to see how we act. Do we come screaming down like we did last time we hit that area, or do we consolidate and break through? So guys, this sums up this video, but I just wanted to show y'all 4 EV stocks that are hot right now and that you should consider looking at. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.